So Dido of Carthage has a really good opportunity here to do a lot of damage to Byzantium. They really don't have much of their ships defending their Italian peninsula, so technically if Carthage plays their ships and their cards right, they could take a few cities here. Because so far, Dido's launching a pretty good attack off the Sardinian coast here, and Rome is completely undefended, not even a unit stationed inside of this former Roman capital of Rome, I guess, obviously. So, yeah, I don't really know what's going to go down here. Now, hopefully, for Byzantium's sake, the Carthaginian AI makes a few mistakes and they're dumb and they decide to attack multiple cities or whatever. There could be a few things that could help out Byzantium here. The problem is that they've got to get this massive fleet of submarines over towards the western part of the Italian peninsula. Now, if they can do that, then they'll be just fine. If they can manage to do that, but I don't know if they can. It's going to be really, really close, and I'm not sure exactly how ready, I guess, Theodora is for this battle, because she's just got out of a few big wars and she lost a lot of units. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. Let's not forget that Frankfurt is also under siege here in northeast Germany. The Russians are going pretty hard for that, and there's a lot of units, but they're pretty lucky because they have this lake here. And I apologize for not knowing the term for this part of I guess this lake, but luckily, that's making the Russians' job a little bit more difficult. And Venice has declared war on, or France has declared war on Venice. So let's see what happens here first. I don't know if it's Carthage or if Byzantium's turn processes. And we have Denmark. Denmark's process right now. Okay, so there you go. Byzantium is going. I was going to talk about Denmark for a brief second, trying to figure out what they can do now that they've lost Copenhagen. They're in a really, really difficult spot. Ooh. Yeah, they didn't do as much damage as they needed to. Rome only has 81 city defense, which actually isn't that much. Yeah, no, that's not really that much at all. At this stage in the game, I mean, we've got most of the Byzantine cities at about over 100. So, yeah. That's not too difficult. Although, you know, Carthage is a little bit behind in technology, so it might even itself out. It might possibly even itself out. So there's one destroyer, but I'm afraid this destroyer is going to be a little bit too preoccupied with this ironclad. There's a submarine, and you know that's another thing, is the submarines that Byzantium has might be distracted, and they might go for this fleet, protecting the Carthaginian capital. So that could be bad for the AI. They really have to utilize this canal city, which is so smart that they were able to pick that up, because without that canal city, they really wouldn't be able to use their dominant fleets at all in this case. Okay, so Ramses has launched a sneak attack against another civ. We'll see who that is. And we have a few people that are piecing out with Venice. Rome, however, is just beginning their war with Venice. Still waiting for them to get taken out. I don't know by who. I'm guessing Hungary, but Milan could really use another city, even though Milan is kind of done at this point. I mean, it's going to be difficult no matter what they try here. Now, I do also think that France is still at war with Denmark technically, and as I was saying, Denmark's in a tough spot. Denmark, I think, only has 3 cities. There are these 2 cities here, and then there is this one randomly in between the Hungarian Goths and Polish empires. Okay, let's see what happens, because right after Denmark, we usually see there's Byzantium. Let's see how they're going to do this. Again, Rome is important to watch. Let's watch here. So they destroyed a unit, but again, they're only using the bombardment from that city. That's the only thing that's really keeping them. It's still being blockaded. That's going back and forth. Now, another good thing is that Byzantium hasn't really, or I'm sorry, Carthage is kind of divided in their sieges. There's a few units going for Rome. There's a few units going for the island of Sicily. And luckily, that is giving enough time for Theodora to group up her fleets and her land units and to send them in the right location, I guess, because now they're all coming over here. And I don't know why they haven't sent over more. It seems like these submarines might be protecting maybe the land units that are crossing between like kind of modern-day Greece and the boot of Italy. It looks like that. Maybe that's what these submarines are doing. We'll have to wait and see. But Carthage is not stopping. And again, I think we discussed this. Future ramifications of this war could be that Carthage gets taken out by either Egypt or Shanghai. Obviously, Byzantium is going to destroy a lot of units here. A lot of units here. So also let's real quick check on Frankfurt. Okay, yeah, Frankfurt is not doing so well. I mean, Russia is not doing so well with their siege. Frankfurt is still at full strength right now, at the moment at least. Let's see what France tries. Is France going to try anything? Not really. Yeah, no, they've stopped. And that's because Spain, that's right. I forgot about Spain. I totally forgot about Spain. Whoops. Yes, this is a big one. Spain has already gotten this city into the yellow. And but there's a lot of great war infantry. This is going to be really, really bloody. If Spain can hold on to it, that would be a big deal. Let's check out Byzantium. Let's see what they do here. So they destroyed units, and now they're finally bringing over their submarines. It might be a little bit too late. It looks like they've destroyed enough of the Carthaginian fleet that there's only land units left, and these land units are not going to be enough. They're not going to be able to embark, land on the Italian peninsula. Oh my gosh, they took it over. Wow, Spain, and do all this without ships. So we have Denmark and Austria, as well as Iceland and Austria. Oh, bam! Powerhouse Iceland getting involved in some continental affairs, continental Europe affairs. Man, you better watch out. Once Iceland gets involved, you're done. It's donezo right there. So where's Austria left with? I believe they only have one city, and that's here. They don't border Iceland, but they do border Denmark. I forgot about these two Danish. So Denmark has 5 cities. I apologize. And Russia is having some very big issues attacking Frankfurt, which is kind of not a surprise right now. Yeah, no, Carthage is already done. It looks like a lot of their ships have already been eliminated from the game. I mean, they still have a few frigates, but as far as ship-wise, I mean, plus they're behind in technology somewhat. They've got frigates. I mean, that's not going to help them out too much. But then again, look at all these land units that landed in Rome. Maybe I'm going to be proven wrong here. It might be a little bit too late, and they get the help from these frigates. These are going to be ranged attacks. They've got an artillery attack that's going to be ranged. They can melee attack it twice. No, actually 3 times with this musketman, which is, again, behind technology. But we'll see. We're going to see right now. And I actually don't know how Byzantium is going to reinforce this area. There's a machine gun, which is smart. They need to buy something inside of Rome. Rome is no longer in resistance. I understand. I know this. Hold on. Let's see what happens here. They didn't do much, but they did approach. You know, that machine gun's probably going to distract them long enough. Just long enough to for them to probably not attack Rome. They'll probably attack the machine gun instead. What the heck? What they do? They did not attack Rome. So they're making mistakes. And you know, it might be because of the massive... I mean, they destroyed so many units. This fleet of submarines that Byzantium had just destroyed so many units here off the Carthaginian coast. And I know I didn't discuss this, but we have Switzerland and the Celts, which is a big deal. Songhai is also over here. I don't know why they're over here. Switzerland and the Celts shouldn't mean much, but Spain and Switzerland does mean a lot. And that was a Spanish offensive war. So that's going to distract them. This is going to be really, really hard for Spain to deal with both France and Switzerland. I know that, you know, separately those nations aren't too powerful, but together in this sense, after Spain had already kind of lost a few units during a few sieges, this is going to be tough. And I have no idea. Now, it does help that the Celts are here. The Celts are going to help out somewhat, but it's not going to be that much. It won't be that much. So we have Sumer piecing out with Switzerland. And that is it. Austria and the Celts piecing out too. Wow. Okay, so Western Europe is really getting interesting now. I mean, it's been interesting. Every region of this world has pretty much been interesting. But now Spain is finally getting involved in some of these like foreign politics, and it's interesting because they've been so quiet in Iberia. They've been just trying to focus on getting Iberia back. It does look like Spain finally has enough troops to maybe be able to handle all this, yeah, because they've got their North African colonies here, 3 cities right in a row. I forgot that they just colonized this region. And they have, I think they have the navy to maybe take this coastal city away from Switzerland. We'll have to wait and see how they balance out these 2 nations in the north. Again, it helps out tremendously that the Celts are involved, and technically the Celts could get really, really lucky here. Technically, if they play their cards right, they could take over Basel. They could, and I apologize if it's not pronounced Basel, but yes, with the help of Spain, obviously they could take this city. But the problem is, I don't know if they're going to be able to defend against France with their newly acquired southern French city. I don't think they're going to be able to hold on and keep the French from moving too far forward, especially because, look at this, Switzerland has open borders through Napoleon's lands. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal, and a very smart move by the AI, by Napoleon allowing that from Switzerland. I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly how much the Celts bring down from Ireland towards northern Iberia. They're not at war with France. They're just at war with Switzerland. Maybe if they get, and I'm sure they have open borders through Spain. They probably do. Maybe they could help out defending the city. Okay, let's check in on this again. So yeah, Carthage has completely abandoned her siege of Rome. As you can see, there were land units before. Now they're embarked, which is a problem. So they came and they pillaged a bunch of things. That's not going to last long, though. The AIs should be able to fix that pretty quickly. And now the submarines are now getting up north, finally starting to... Well, there's one that's got north of Sicily. Got north of Sicily, and they might do some damage here. This is kind of the last remaining units that Carthage actually controls. So yeah, Byzantium did just fine, even though they weren't in the ideal spot, in the ideal location. And actually, we might possibly see an offensive move by Byzantium. I wouldn't suggest it. I wouldn't advise that to Theodora, but it could be possible. And yes, I think we've been discussing this in the comment section. This fleet here, this small fleet, seems like it's bugged. More than likely, it's not doing anything. It's bugged. It's not upgraded, and yeah. So let's just kind of disregard that, I guess. Scholars in Residence is trying to be passed by Venice. Very smart move for them in their spot, but I don't think that's going to get passed. We'll see, actually. The AI tends to like that. And then World Religion, again, is going to be tried to get pushed through the United Nations from Hungary, Buddhism becoming the major religion of continental Europe, as well as the Middle East and North Africa. What else do we have? Thebes. Who are you playing against? Oh, Iceland. I can see that. I mean, I can see why. Iceland is such a powerhouse, Egypt. They certainly threaten your victory. I know. I'd be terrified. I wouldn't... I mean, just because they're on the other side, they're probably as far away from you... They're further away from you than any other nation is to any other nation in the world, because you guys are at the exact opposite corners of the map. I would understand. And France did take it back. But yeah, no, I get it, Ramses. That's totally understandable that you're threatened and you're plotting against them. Okay, so France. Luckily for France, they took it back. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep that. There are some rocket artillery that are going to be able to do some damage, and this city did lose a lot of city defense. Let's see what Byzantium does here. Let's see how they approach this. Very slowly. They haven't destroyed any units, but they are now protecting Rome. The Celts just declared war on Napoleon, and that's a big deal. Very, very smart move for the Celts, because they could take over for some French cities and really grab and make a bigger hold on continental Europe than they already have. That's a really big deal. Oh, Spain took it back. What is Songhai doing? But this is a problem for Spain and Isabella, because more than likely, I think the Celts are going to engage France more than they're going to engage Switzerland. It's likely, but I don't know. Also, the Celts need to get over way more units. Way more units. This is going to be an issue because, remember, Bern of Switzerland, the capital of Switzerland, is really fortified by a lot of modern units. Kind of modern infantry, artillery units. I mean, relatively for a small nation like this, it is surprising to see them kind of, with the rest of the world in terms of technological advantages. That's pretty crazy. So we do have Egypt still number one in terms of technology. Then it's Russia. Then it's Theodora of Byzantium, Isabella, Roberts, Askia, Kashmir. And I'm not going to pronounce the Iceland's capital name, but he's actually doing relatively well in 9th place. Maybe I should stop kind of being a little bit, what's that word called? Facetious? Facetious? I don't know. But they're actually pretty high in the technology level. I mean, they're higher than a lot of these other nations. The Hittites, William, Hungary, Germany. I mean, that's amazing. So anyways, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Okay, so Scholars in Residence was not passed, as well as Buddhism, which will probably never get passed, but Hungary is going to continue to try to propose that in the United Nations, because that's the thing that's going to benefit the most. They're going to get a bunch of votes from that if they were to ever pass it. Okay, so Spain has a pretty good fleet, and I don't know if it's going after this Swiss city or if it's going to go up north and handle Basel. We'll have to wait and see. And also, I mean, this is really heating up with the reinforcement from Switzerland. I mean, this is going to make it a little bit more difficult for Spain and the Celts to work together. We almost have a kind of a dual team war going on in Western Europe, which is really interesting. Really quick, I want to see what happens with Byzantium. They destroyed some units. They definitely destroyed some units, and Carthage is almost done, pretty much. I would say, yeah, now they're pretty much done. Luckily for Carthage, though, Byzantium really isn't prepared to take cities naval-wise. In terms of ships, they really only have a bunch of submarines, which are really good for defense, but they're not going to be able to expand their borders anymore, which is probably something that Byzantium should avoid doing as it is, because, yeah, Byzantium knows... But Byzantium has just taken a lot of cities, so they don't really need to acquire anything else. They're doing just fine. Let's see what happens here in Western Europe. So we have kind of two teams, Spain and the Celts versus France and Switzerland. Also, where did that Spanish fleet go? Yeah, it is actually going up north, but because of the land units that are being reinforced, they're probably going to take the city over. More than likely. These submarines can't do much, but they're still going to probably take the city over. So Switzerland's going to lose a little bit of power. And oh my gosh, wait a second. I totally missed Frankfurt falling. Frankfurt fell, and actually I think it just fell. Wow. And now for the final northeastern German city, Cologne. That's the next city. That's the final, I guess, German city that's in this region of the map. If that city falls, I mean, you're talking a lot of power from Russia. Only Hungary will be behind them. And really, at this point, I don't think Russia is giving up open borders to just about anybody. Ooh, Frankfurt got taken back. It doesn't matter, though. Russia captured it right afterwards. So there you go. Frankfurt lost a lot of power in the process, though. A lot of people died. I'm sure a lot of buildings got burned down. So that does mean a lot when it gets kind of recaptured like that. And what's going on here? Let's see what Carthage does to rebuttal the Byzantium offensive move with all these submarines. They are trying to go for the offensive attack here. That is Theodora has been captured by Spain. Wait, which city? Oh yeah, down here. Okay, we knew about that. Okay, so Switzerland has finally lost their hold in Iberia, and if this city were to fall, it'd be the first time in this entire campaign, after 450 plus turns, we would have finally seen Spain control all of Iberia, and you would have thought that would have happened a long time ago. They destroyed Portugal so early, but they were never able to control all of Iberia. And I think that was part of the problem, is there was a lot of land in Iberia, and they destroyed Portugal so fast that they weren't able to expand towards some of those uncolonized territories in this region of the map. So that offered a lot of the other Europeans to go and grab some of this land. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Spain could be looking really powerful here. They grab a hold of this final, I guess the non-capital, this final non-capital city of that's the Swiss control, then Spain's going to be looking good. They would have really came back from the dead here. Spain is pieced out with Denmark. That's a small, that helps out a little bit. Oh my gosh. How did the Sumer build the Manhattan Project? Surprised, they only have one city. That's pretty crazy. Okay, Ramses is secretly plotting against Venice. Again, another foe that you really should be worried about there, Egypt. I'm glad that Egypt has been quiet, to be honest, because Egypt really started to run away with the game for a little bit, and I'm very glad that they stopped going to war. I'm sure that's not going to happen for much longer, but it really allowed a lot of the other civs to make a comeback. Like Byzantium, like Spain right now, like Russia. It's been crazy. Songhai even has a chance too. So it's been good all around, I guess. But then again, Egypt is somewhat of a relatively peaceful nation. Wait a second. I think I have, oh, really? Wow. Look at that, Austria. Wow. Well, there you go. And they actually might even take over. Oh, wait a second. That's Hungary. Okay. Hungary and Austria's colors look very similar. Hungary, Austria, Poland, they all look really, really similar. Boom! Spain declared war on Carthage. Now, that's really ballsy of Spain. Isabella is going kind of a little bit too intense here. Yeah, Cologne is definitely going to fall. And Russia is going to be looking so good. Oh, jeez. Really, really powerful. They're finally, and they do need to eventually go to war with Hungary, but that's going to be a difficult war because they'll be fighting a two-front war there, especially if Hungary still retains these open borders, these open border agreements with the Goths and through Poland. I don't think they have it through Poland, but definitely through the Goths. That's going to be difficult because, like I've been saying, Hungary is that sleeper. They're just waiting to expand super fast, like Byzantium did, like Spain is doing now. I think Hungary could be the next one. The next one that does some like quick capturing of enemy cities, and all of a sudden like the tables turn on who's the real Spain is solidifying their dominance. They're saying, hey, I should be in the top 5 of this campaign. I should be considered a possible winner here. So just like Byzantium did a few turns ago, now it's Spain's turn. I think we could see Hungary do that really, really soon here. Theodora is playing against Maria Theresa. Let's see what happens. So again, this fleet still hasn't come. Oh, there it goes. That just like we predicted, exactly like we predicted. Most of the world is starting to go after Carthage now, and this is going to be really, really big for Egypt. Massive for Egypt. Unless, of course, somebody steals away some of these cities, like if Songhai goes to war, but Songhai is not prepared for that. Boom, Cologne's already been taken. Russia is looking good. Russia's looking really, really good. And then Germany, in turn, has lost a lot of their power. They practically are, I don't want to say done, but I mean, they're not going to win the campaign anymore because they lost so many cities. These cities were really, really essential for the German Empire, and now they're gone, which is crazy. All right, so we have Spain, we have Byzantium, we have Egypt. Those are 3 out of the 4 civs that I predicted that would go to war with Carthage. The only one that I'm still waiting for is Songhai, and I don't know what they're doing, but they might be sending things over right now. They have tanks, and they've got a lot of them. They can move really fast through the Sahara Desert, so they could get there. They could definitely get there. And what's going on here? How's Western Europe? It's a mess. It's a battleground. Man, it's a battleground. But it's mainly just Switzerland's army that's keeping up France. If Switzerland were to peace out, or if they were to lose enough units, then France is going to fall to both Spain and the Celts at probably about the same time. And now Scotland has joined in. Well, there you go. Anyways, guys, I'm going to have to stop right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.